you should be equally concerned about how the legal system is being weaponized and abused for partisan purposes. Remember this, all over the world they're watching this trial and they're seeing what a disgrace this is.
Donald Trump following a full day of testimony from the prosecution's star witness, Michael Cohen. The defense spent much of their early cross-examination attacking the credibility of Trump's former fixer. Court is on a break today, but a House Judiciary Subcommittee is holding a hearing investigating lawfare tactics. Congressman Jim Jordan chairs that committee. He joins us now. And Congressman, maybe give you a chance, first of all, to comment on the breaking news that apparently Biden does want to debate. President Trump says, OK, let's debate, and there'll be one in June and one in September. Details to be worked out. But what do you think of that?
Well, Shazam, we're going to do what we do every 4 years. We're going to have presidential debates. I mean, that shouldn't be newsworthy, but it is, because so many Americans understand Joe Biden has a real problem communicating. He has a real problem putting two sentences together. I wish it weren't the case. You want your president to be able to actually talk to the American people, but that's the situation. So what's he going to talk about, too? He has trouble saying anything, but what's he going to talk about? You think about it. We've went from a secure border to no border, safe streets to record crime, $2 gas to $4 gas, stable prices to record inflation. Joe Biden's going to have to defend that record. President Trump can defend his record because we had things were going well under his leadership. So this is good news. The American people deserve to have their presidential candidates debate, and I think President Trump will run away with both of these debates. If they're in June or September or whenever they may happen.
They're going to hit early, all right? It's the kind of cycle we have not seen before. The reason you came on is because at 10 a.m. today, you're holding a hearing, and you're looking into what you call lawfare against Donald Trump. Here is one important point. You're trying to get Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, to concede to an investigation of Michael Cohen, because during his testimony before Congress, he lied. And he admitted it, and he went to jail. This is one thing I don't think a lot of people realize. Lanny Davis, who no longer represents Michael Cohen as of last year, told Politico that Alvin Bragg's prosecution here in New York all stemmed from Cohen's testimony to Congress in 2019. Now, go ahead and talk about that.
Well, and in that testimony, that's the Intel Committee, but in front of our committee, he lied 6 times. We referred him to the Justice Department. We know he's a convicted perjurer, and this is their star witness. Understand, Alvin Bragg said, this is a direct quote, Alvin Bragg said, I cannot envision indicting President Trump and calling Michael Cohen as a prosecution witness. But that's exactly what Alvin Bragg did, but he made that decision to change 180 degrees after President Trump announces he's running for office. Merrick Garland appoints Jack Smith special counsel 3 days after President Trump announces he's running for office. And Fani Willis started her investigation in 2021, but she doesn't bring the case until after President Trump announces he's running for president of the United States. This is lawfare at its worst. It is all about going after your political opponents. And today we're going to have Robert Costello, former attorney for Michael Cohen, who's going to talk about how Michael Cohen cannot be trusted. We got Jim Trusty, who worked on the classified documents case, testifying in front of our committee. We think it's going to be a great hearing.
Let me pull this up for everybody to see. Call for number 4. This is the status of Trump trials. You see him here. There's the New York criminal trial. You know that's underway. The classified documents case is postponed. We don't think that will actually happen before the election. The January 6th election interference and Georgia election interference cases both on hold as well. You have the weaponization of federal government hearing today. What do you hope people learn from it?
Dana, all those cases are falling apart because they're all ridiculous. Fani Willis paid her boyfriend, hired her boyfriend. He comes to D.C., talks with the January 6th committee, talks with the White House on the taxpayer dime to coordinate how they're going to go after President Trump. That case is falling apart. Last week, Jack Smith altered, changed the sequence of the documents he seized from Mar-a-Lago. The scanned documents don't match up with the actual physical documents. Some people will call that tampering with evidence. Think about this. Jack Smith mishandled the documents he's charging President Trump with mishandling. That case is falling apart. And of course, up in New York, we see what's going on there. This case is ridiculous, where the star witness is Michael Cohen, a guy who no one can trust.
Well, we'll see what the jury says in the end. But the AG is not going to make a move on this. You understand that, right?
Well, we got a number of things we're dealing with the AG. We got a contempt resolution vote in the full committee tomorrow, because he won't give us the audio tape of where Mr. Hur interviewed President Biden in his classified documents. And remember, in that case, Bill, he met the elements of the crime. He knowingly kept, knowingly disclosed classified information. President Biden did. And Mr. Hur points out the motive. The motive was he says he had strong motivations for ignoring classified procedures because he was writing a book for which he got paid $8 million. So we have motive, we have the elements of the crime, but we're not going to charge him because he's a forgetful elderly gentleman. Yeah. Okay, well, let us see the evidence on all that, including the audio tape.
How much, you've been on the Trump train for a long time. We spoke more than a year ago, long before we knew that President Trump was going to run again in 2024. And you said you were on his team.
Heck yeah.
What do you think a guilty conviction in this trial in New York would do to his campaign?
I don't think it hurts it one bit because the country, American people have common sense. They see what we've just been talking about. They see this concerted effort by the left and the Democrats to go after the political. Remember, Bill, they tried the 14th Amendment. They tried to keep him. They said, we're not even going to let him play in the game. That's the easiest way to win, is to disqualify your opponent on the front end. But the Supreme Court said no. 9-0, they said no to that. This is what they've been. The American people see it, and they know the kind of leadership they had under President Trump, and they want that back.
All right. Congressman, thank you.
We'll watch that every next hour. Jim Jordan, thank you, the Republican from Ohio. Thanks.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.